My name is Clifton, and today I will be tasting some whiskeys from Balcones. So if you don't know much about Balcones, they are a Texas-based distillery. They're probably the most well-known Texas-based distillery as far as I know. But they've been putting out a bunch of different releases. I actually happen to have four of them myself. I've tried a few of the others. But I realized that I've never actually tried any of these on stream. So I thought I would try them out and talk about them while hanging out with you guys. So hopefully everything, I'm trying out a new way to start streaming. So hopefully my stream started. So if so, okay, some of you guys are showing up. Hey, Brandon, what's up? Thank you for, you're always right on time. Oh, Ryan, man, what's up? I saw your comment on my video today. I was like, oh, God, I haven't talked to him forever. How have you been doing, Ryan and Brandon, both of you? Brandon's here every week, so, like, but yeah, Ryan, what's going on? What have you been up to? We need to, like, chat. Like, cause I was like, last time I talked to you, you were still in school. And I was, I was like, so yeah, how's school going? So it's been a while, so. But yeah, good to see you, man. Thanks for showing up to my humble little live streams. Don't usually get too many viewers, but it's always just like fun hanging out and trying new things. So that's kind of what I'm doing with this. So let's go ahead and, so I actually just picked up a bottle of their their bourbon for the first time last night. But I'm going to pour the first one that I actually bought from them, which was their True Blue 100 proof, I'll show you. True Blue 100 proof blue corn whiskey. And I think this was actually one of their first releases. It's at least the first one that I ever saw, like, on the shelf. So they do have, like, a cask strength version. They have their Baby Blue, which probably came out first. But this is the first one that I bought. So I'm going to go ahead and pour a glass of that just to get started. It's a good one to set my baseline with them. It says they use corn whiskey, their own corn whiskey, in like all of their stuff. Wesley says, still haven't tried a single Balcones product. Oh, wait, what's up, Wesley? It took me a minute to realize who you were. Thanks for showing up. So you haven't tried a single Balcones product. You're saying, like, no, not at all. I mean, I think they're it's kind of hard to get into their stuff because it's different. I mean, they're not a Kentucky bourbon. They're very craft, very small, but of the small craft distilleries, they're one of the most well-known outside of Kentucky. I think so. Ryan, you've been good, busy with work and stuff. Same here, man. Yeah, I'll message you soon, because, yeah, we do need to catch up. I miss talking to you, and hopefully Steven's doing as well, doing well, too. I think I see him post more, like, on social media, and then I feel like I've seen your stuff. But maybe it's just because the stupid algorithm with Instagram stuff. I don't know, but, yeah, let's catch up soon, for real. Brandon says, you got some Dusty Turkey for me, but only you. Oh my God. I would love to try Dusty Turkey. Where did you find that? So for those of you, like, not familiar, Dusty Turkey is basically like wild turkey that came out, basically Dusty in whiskeys. Anything that came out like more than 5 years ago, I would say, or maybe more than, even like 3 years ago. It's just something that either like sat on the shelf for a long time or just people collected it. So yeah, man, I'd love to try a sample of that. Maybe at the next meetup, or sometime we can meet up soon, because you're not that far from me. So your dad thinks it's either late 70s or early 80s. Oh my God, I was thinking like 90s. Dude, yes, I would love to try that. Let's make plans to, like, meet up, and I can bring some stuff. We can either just meet up somewhere or come to the meetup that I usually go to. But let me know, because that sounds amazing. And now you've got me like, I'm like salivating wanting it. Your dad found a decanter. That's so awesome. I would love to. I always look in like antique stores and like thrift shops. I'm like, I'm going to find someone that got rid of a decanter that's still full, and I'm going to be so excited. But haven't had luck yet. I found a couple empty ones, but they're either they're broken, or they're missing like the corks. So haven't bought them, but I've been on the lookout for them ever since I realized that was a thing. So this is the True Blue. This is I'll read a little bit of the back of it. Oh, but let me try my little fancy tweet button. So I'm using a Stream Deck. So it's basically, I can't really have a way to show it to you, but it's like this little desktop device that I have pre-programmed keys. One's supposed to send a chat message, but I don't think I set it up right. So I don't think it's going to send them. Oh, wait, there you go. Oh my god, I was so concerned it wasn't gonna work because I did during it when I was like before when it's live and I was like this doesn't work, it's stupid. But cool. I feel like a professional now. So yeah, so I can see my number of viewers and stuff, and I can change my cameras to like that. Yeah, it's just pretty cool. So I'm being a little more professional now. So yeah, so let's try the true. Oh yeah, I was gonna read the bottle of it. So this actually is batch. It's hard to read it. Looks like it says TBAO 181. It's hard to read that. I'm not sure like what their naming convention is for their batches. Yeah, it's like TB something 00181. The date is 4/20/18. Huh, ironic. So basically, this is their. I think they're pretty much their flagship. Their Baby Blue and this are kind of like the go-to releases from them. So it's made with blue corn, which have you guys seen like the blue corn chips? I always get them because I thought they were so cool. But like I don't know, I just think they're cool. They're not. I mean, it's like a variety of corn, and it doesn't really taste that much different, but it's just kind of cool. And they use that, and what they do is they actually make this with the intention of making the cast strength version. They just released this proof down version to basically have a wider release. The cast strength version, I think, is a distillery only or like some very, very limited release. But fortunately, they're like, you know what, we want to share more of this with the world. So they proof it down to 100 proof, which is still pretty high proof, and send it to a bunch of states. So that's kind of how I found out about it. So let's go ahead and give it a nose. I don't know if have you guys had any other corn whiskeys? Like, is that something you picked up? The first one I ever bought was a Mellow Corn. It's like a $10 bottle. Not my favorite. But yeah, have you guys drank any corn whiskey? What are your thoughts on it? Or I didn't ask you guys, what are you guys drinking tonight? You guys drinking some bourbon or maybe some whiskey from a different state that you've never tried before? I'd love to encourage people to branch out from the usual Kentucky. Yeah, on the nose, it's 100% corn. Like, there's none of like the rye spice you get with a lot of bourbons. You just get like a really popcorn. I would describe it as popcorn. It's like I don't really get a buttered popcorn, but it's like a popcorn kernel note. So that's on the nose. It's unique. So that's the thing I'll say. I don't know about other Texas distilleries. I've never tried anything from a different Texas distillery. I've heard Texas whiskey all has a similar characteristic throughout. And I do notice that all of their products have a similar taste. And I think that may be the note that people are describing as Texas whiskey. But I'd like to try a different brand just to kind of compare. But like, all of their releases have a similar note throughout. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. Brandon says he's never had any before, kind of iffy about it. Texas whiskey, yeah, I know it's definitely unique. And the basically what makes Texas whiskey unique is it's so hot there. So the bourbon goes in and out of the barrel way more than like a Kentucky, because there's a lot more ballast in Kentucky. Like, you do have hot weather, but it's a very seasonal. Whereas Texas, it's like 100 plus degrees and then like 70 degrees at night. Like, it's very, very like common transition between the barrel and the whiskey. So you're getting a lot of oak influence. Basically ages it faster. Really, not officially, but the way it affects the flavor profile, it does taste like a lot older. The age on this, I don't think they actually have. So I think they said aged at least 24 months in oak. So it's only a 2-year-old, but I tell you right now, it drinks like a lot older, and that's because of that like rapid aging with the Texas heat. Wesley has had Stolen. I think that's all corn. I haven't tried that. I know they released they have like a rum too, don't they? And they have like a bourbon. I've seen it on the shelves. It has a unique label. Brandon's sipping on some Eagle Rare. Sounds good. I actually almost poured myself a glass of that earlier to kind of set my palate. I ended up going with Smooth Ambler Contradiction because it was kind of like another craft distillery kind of thing. I almost grabbed a bottle of Eagle Rare for that. Garrison is amazing. My favorite Texas whiskey. I've only tried it once, and I tried it late into a tasting event, so I don't really remember very much of it. I remember it was good. It wasn't my favorite of the night, but then again, I was trying alongside a lot of Wild Turkey products and a bunch of other like major distilleries, so didn't give it a real fair taste. So I'd like to revisit Garrison. Steven, man, what's up? Thank you for tuning in. We are actually just about to taste our first pour of the night. This is the True Blue 100 proof Balcones Blue Corn Whiskey. So yeah, it's super corny on the nose. I'm actually getting, I said earlier it wasn't like a buttered popcorn, but the more I go back to the nose, I do get a lot of those deep buttery notes on it. So again, it's probably something to do with the age. So let's go ahead and taste it. Yeah, it's like, it's not overly complex. Again, this isn't that expensive of a bottle. It's 100 proof, and it's only 2 years old. But the flavor profile is so unique, and I think that's what kind of drew me into Balcones products. It's like unlike anything I've ever had before. Basically, the flavor profile is roasted corn and like popcorn. I keep saying popcorn, but it's like popcorn in a glass, in a good way. And I really do enjoy it for that. I actually slept on this for a while. Like I didn't go to it for the longest time, but I came back to it recently, and I was just surprised, like how drinkable and how easy it is to sip on this and to get into this. Like, Steven says candy corn. That's actually, yeah. So on the nose, I don't really get that. But let me see if I can get that on the taste. It almost is. It's almost like if you aged candy corn in oak, because it does have the sweetness of candy corn. That's actually a really good point. I never thought of it like that before. The finish is a lot more that candy corn. That's really interesting. I didn't actually expect it to go candy corn, but you're right. The sweetness does transform it into that flavor. So that's kind of why I was interested in picking up another bottle. Like I said, I picked this up yesterday. This is their Texas Pot Still Bourbon. So this actually just came out in April of this year. So it's relatively new. Like I said, this actually is one of the first. What is this? It just says the batch number is some complex set of letters. This may be one of the first batches of this. Yeah, April 26, 2019. And it says, big flavors have always been the cornerstone of our prized Texas whiskeys, and Texas Pot Still Bourbon is no exception. Made grain to glass using traditional pot still distillation ensures a rich and viscous. I was like vicious. Oh, they're getting a little daring with it. Viscous spirit that stands up to aging in new charred oak without losing its essence. Again, Texas aging. That's like a big thing. Each dram is full of character and body with an aromatic entry and soft finish for an approachable yet memorable experience. Now, the only thing that kind of concerns me about this is it's 46% alcohol, and they haven't released a cask strength version. So I think they're holding something back, or they're planning something big with this one, which might be why it's a limited release to start with. I see we got a like. Thank you guys for liking the video. That does really help me, I guess, get up there and like showing up on people's feeds. So yeah, if you haven't liked the video yet, I would really appreciate a like. I should have mentioned that in my little auto message that gets sent there. But yeah, thank you for liking, whoever that was. It does help actually promote it, because it's like, oh, people are actually interested in watching this. So yeah, so let me just take one. I'm gonna leave a little bit of this the corn whiskey in this other glass right here, just to kind of compare them, because I actually haven't compared them directly. I think it'd be kind of cool. Ooh, that has a nice pop. Like I said, it's fairly new. I tried it a little last night just to kind of, I didn't like do a tasting of it. I just kind of drank a little just to kind of get acclimated with it. That's good. Oh, you guys are awesome. I just see like 3 more likes pop up. You guys are so cool. Thank you so much for that. So cheers to you for liking my video. So this, like I said, is their bourbon. It's made with, again, their corn whiskey. I'm not 100% sure if it's their blue corn or they have a different strain of corn. But it is corn whiskey, but it also has a Texas rye in it. So it's at least 51% corn. I don't know the exact mash bill. I'm not sure if they released that. But they use locally sourced rye in it as well, which is super cool. That's the thing I love about these craft distilleries. They're putting out product that uses local, either like they'll put out a gin that uses local botanicals. I just really appreciate that. And even though it's not a Texas whiskey like we all know and love, they're still using local sources, and I think that makes it just as special as a Kentucky. I said it's not a Texas. It's not a Kentucky bourbon, but I think that makes it just as special because there's pride that goes into this glass. I was telling a few people, I went to a tasting at a distillery in Santa Barbara this past weekend. I'm not going to name it, but I went to their tasting room, and you can kind of see their operations in the background. And just the guy that was doing our tasting, first of all, he didn't like greet us. He was just like stood there at his little tasting bar, and I was like, "Hey, we're here for a tasting." And he's like, "Okay." And he pulled out his glasses, and he's like, "This is our vodka. We use this. this is our gin. We use this. I'm like, there was no passion at all behind what he was doing. And I think that's what Kentucky has. And I think that's really what Balcones has. I think there's a lot of passion that goes into making a spirit that you're proud of. And if you don't have that passion, if your employees, even if this is just a guy leading the tasting, maybe he's not the master distiller. If I don't see that passion, I'm not going to get it in your juice. I'm just being honest. Like, even these major distilleries like Jameson, like I watched like the Whiskey Tribes videos where they toured that distillery or the Middleton distillery. Those guys were so passionate about what they're putting out, even if it's a massive corporation. Again, like I said, these craft distilleries have that heart and they have that passion. So that's what I like about Balcones. Steven says, just saw the conversation on the Dusty Turkey. Fine. Hope it was stored decently and doesn't taste like some amazing turkey funk. You know what? Even if it has gone a little off, I'd still be down to try it because I've never tried a Dusty. That's my thing. That's the thing I've always craved. I hear all you guys talking about, oh, I have a Dusty from 1993 or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to know what that tastes like. So yeah, I'm excited to try whatever. So maybe when I'm in Kentucky, someone will share some like Dusty picks that they found with me. But until then, Brandon, yeah, let's meet up and do that. So this is the bourbon on the nose. It smells different. Just let me do a quick little comparison. Yeah, this is like super sweet candy corn. I go back to that note that Steven mentioned. This is like a sweet like buttered popcorn. Whereas this, the bourbon, it's a lot more traditional, I would say. I get a lot of that vanilla and a lot of the caramel that you would get on a bourbon. Doesn't smell like Balcones, to be honest. Like, this doesn't really smell like their stuff that I've kind of got a signature note on these other ones. So let's go ahead and try it on. Because when I tried it last night, to be honest, it tasted very similar to the True Blue, but I hadn't had the True Blue in a while. So let's see if it tastes similar. So it does taste very similar to the True Blue. It has like a dusty corn. I'm going to say dusty corn, not in the dusty kind of like old turkey kind of way you guys are talking about, but it's like, I imagine if you have like a, what do you call those, silo or whatever of corn in like one of those really tall, silo, that's the word. And you open it up and like you release all your corn into a truck or whatever. And there's like a dust that kind of rises while you're doing that. That's what I get on the flavor profile. And I get that with all the Balcones products. So I'm getting a lot on the bourbon. It's not a bad note. I get that actually a lot on younger bourbons. I don't really get it on the nose. The nose just smells like a traditional, like a good bourbon. But the taste is drastically different from the nose. And I don't think... Let me Google real quick. I'm going to see if they released their mash bill, because I don't taste much rye on that at all. Balcones bourbon mash bill. Because, yeah, I get the corn really, really strong. And to be honest, to be a bourbon, it can still be 90% corn whiskey and like 5% rye. Yeah, it just says... Oh, okay. So it's their mash bill is roasted blue corn, Texas wheat, Texas rye, and malted barley. Oh, that's interesting. So they use wheat. This is like basically like a 4-grain spirit. That's pretty cool. That's what I was saying. I didn't get the rye note that strongly. Let's see. It says, okay, so they haven't announced the actual percentages of that. So we don't know if it's a little bit of rye or a lot of rye. But that's really interesting. I had no idea that they were using wheat in this too. They don't list on their bottle. That's pretty... I feel like I would brag about that. There's not many 4-grain whiskeys out there. And I forgot to mention, the price point on this one is only $30. This was like $30 after tax for me. The True Blue is a little bit more. It's like basically their like standard release. So this you're expected to pay a little bit more for. This bourbon, I think, is a new release, and it's kind of experimental. It's a lower proof. The age statement on it is just 24 months as well. But I think it's really cool that they use wheat in there. And to be honest, I would have said, if I didn't read that, I would have said it tastes more like a wheat whiskey, only because I'm not getting that rye spice. Don't know if that's a good thing. I like the rye spice, but I also like wheated bourbon, so... The nose on this is really nice, though. It's like... It's all the good things I like about a bourbon's nose. Let me just look at the price point on that. I'm going to answer your question. I just want to look at the price point on their True Blue. Because I don't remember exactly the price point of that. Okay. Ooh, that's a little high. Okay. The True Blue is $60. I thought it was only like $40 or $50. you know what? I encourage you, if you see their bourbon, it's $30. Try their bourbon first, I would say, just to get kind of more acclimated with the standard. I say the Balcones flavor profile, but I think some people may say the Texas whiskey profile. I haven't tried other Texas whiskey, so I'm not sure. But if you like their bourbon and you want to step it up a bit, go up to 100 proof, and maybe just try the corn whiskey on its own without the other ryes and the wheats and things like that. Yeah, go for their corn. Give it a try. $60, I think, price point wise, one. I would say that's a little much for me. I know it's a craft distiller. I would say 40 to 50 is probably what I would hope for with that. Mainly because there are some great, again, I hate to compare to Kentucky whiskeys at these major distilleries, but one of my favorites whiskeys, you guys know, is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and I can get that for $60. Yes, it's limited release, but I can get it for $60. So would I rather have this or cask strength bourbon? Now, if this were their cask strength version, this is just their proof down 100 proof one. They do have a cask strength True Blue. I would definitely say it's worth $60. But for True Blue being their lower proof one, I would say 40 or 50, honestly. Their bourbon is a great price point, though. I mean, for a somewhat craft distillery, $30 release for their bourbon, their first release of bourbon, yeah, that's really good. Definitely recommend that. And it's good. The nose is incredible. The nose is my favorite part. I could smell. If I had a candle made out of this, I would love it. Really vanilla, really oaky. I don't really usually get oak that much on the nose. The nose on this, the oak is really forward. It tastes young, but the oak from the Texas aging process, I think, helps out with that. So yeah, it still kind of tastes like a young whiskey, but you don't really get the light floral notes. You get the caramels, but not like that dark caramel, but like a really sweet note on it. I get that on the true corn too. But the oak helps it because I think that makes a major difference. Which brings us to the next one in the lineup that I have here. They have a lot of different releases, but this one was actually, I think this was the second bottle I picked up from Balcones. So, hold on. Steven says, just taste it. Dark's not bad as long as it wasn't stored next to mothballs. It can't be that bad. Yeah, I've heard that. Was that you, Steven, that was talking about it tastes like mothballs? Someone was saying that they had a Dusty and it tastes like straight up mothballs. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, I would say give it a try. I mean, even if it has a little bit of lead in it from a decanter, it's not going to hurt you unless you're like buying exclusively that. Yeah, give it a try. Or wait till I get there and we'll try it together. That way we can die. If we're going to die, we're going to both die. So this is their Texas Rye. Again, they have a cask strength version of this. I do not have that. I've never seen it in stores. But it's 100 proof. And the interesting thing about this is I tried it first at a tasting event. That was Dixon Deadman. My bad, Steven. I was thinking it was you. I don't know why I was thinking it was you. Maybe I'm thinking of the podcast. I listen to Perry's podcast like when I travel, and I listen to a lot of them back to back. So I got that confused. Okay, that was Dixon. Okay, well, that should be a compliment to you, Steven. So yeah, this is their rye. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Let me go ahead and get some poured, though, first. So now that more of you are here, what are you guys drinking on tonight? I know someone was drinking some Eagle Rare earlier. They may have moved on to a different glass, so let me know. And this, I'll go ahead and show. You want to share something with your dad. That makes total sense. I would love to have shared whiskey with my family members. Unfortunately, the only family member I know that drinks whiskey is my uncle. But I don't see him that often, and his drink of choice is Old Crow. Not dissing Old Crow, but like that being his go-to. He hasn't experimented with other bourbons. It's a little concerning, but I would love to introduce. That would be a cool episode if I could make a video with him, getting him to try some other stuff. Maybe if he lived closer. My grandfather actually was a Scotch drinker, but again, he drank the budget Scotch. So I don't know if my family's the best person to taste whiskey with. But so this is their rye. The date is June 7th, 2018. So this one is interesting. You know why? Their rye, again, is Texas rye only. So it's not sourced from other parts of America. It's made with, it's 100% rye mash bill, first of all. it's made from locally sourced rye. So it's made with Elbon rye from Northwest Texas, accompanied by some crystal, chocolate, and roasted rye. They give us a rich, sweet mid palate and layers of chocolate over leather, tobacco, oak, and spice. So, yeah. So when they say chocolate, so at first that was the thing that like I was like, chocolate? What? Chocolate rye? So chocolate rye is a variety of rye. It's not like it's chocolate flavored or anything, but you do get chocolate notes on it. I'm not gonna lie. That actually is a big part of this. This tastes like no other rye I've ever had in my life. It's so unique. And that's why I love it. And it's why I wanted to experiment more with their other releases. How is Old Crow? So the only time I tried Old Crow, I did like an experimental thing where I tried a bunch of bottom shelf whiskeys. I tried Old Crow, Benchmark 8, Ancient Age, a few other ones. I didn't do a video on it. It was just kind of a personal experiment. Old Crow by itself was the most sippable of the bottom shelf. I'm talking like $10. Again, we're not in Kentucky. We don't get the crazy Kentucky only amazing Heaven Hill $10 bottom shelf releases. We don't get that. We get Old Crow, Ancient Age, a bunch of really mass produced bottom shelf stuff. So Old Crow is the most drinkable on its own. I think Benchmark 8 mixed the best. Old Crow, when it was mixed, it got like a kind of a really weird dusty note, but not like in a good way. So Steven's warming up some Eagle Rare before Mash and Drum stream. Oh, what time is this stream? Is this stream at 7, or is this stream like in 30 minutes, or is it like in 4 minutes? I try to plan these streams where no other people are streaming, and that's why I thought Tuesday was the best night. But what days work best for you guys? So other people that you know that stream, what day is the least streamed on? I prefer a weekday. Like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday usually works best for me. But yeah, I hate to stream when other people are streaming, mainly because, well, first of all, I don't feel like I'm stealing their audience because like they're all bigger than me. But I also don't want to really compete with them because I don't want you to be like, watch my stream instead of their stream. Oh, so they start in 30 minutes, Steven. Okay, yeah, I usually end the stream right at 7. So you're good. I don't like to compete with people in that way. So Wesley says, since you mentioned Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, I'm gonna go pour myself a dram in your honor. Thank you. That is a very high honor because that is an incredible whiskey. New Old Crow is scary, Brandon. Watch this it's Bourbon Night's Halloween episode from a while back, and Sarah is wasted. I don't get JW Dant. I know, but I'll tell you this. I tried JW Dant. Brandon, that's a good point. The whole reason, it's funny because like I wanted to do, my first live stream here was actually on a Thursday right after Perry's stream. Or it was, no. It wasn't after his stream. It was going to be after his stream, but he ended up canceling that night, so I went live instead. Brandon, that's a good point. That may work. We'll think about that, Brandon. Yeah, because Thursdays work well for me too. That would be cool. So are you guys available Thursday as well? Like same time, like 9 p.m. Eastern. Does that work for you on Thursdays? Because if so, I'm down to do it. Unless of course Perry's going live that night, then I wouldn't want to compete or anything. But that's actually a good point. Yeah. So yeah, back to the JW Dant. I actually tried it. There's a whiskey bar in San Diego that has a pretty large selection and good prices. So of course it's not Kentucky prices. So they had JW Dant. I know that's a cheap bottle. They had it for $10 a pour. Normally, if you live in Kentucky, you think that's outrageous because that's like a bottom shelf for them. But for someone that's never tried it, I'd pay $10 to try it. Yeah. So I got myself a pour of it, and you know what? That's an incredible whiskey. And if I had it locally, that would be my go-to. That would absolutely be my daily drinker. It had everything I liked about Henry McKenna. It was very similar to Henry McKenna, I think, but for a really low price. So, God, you guys are so lucky to have that. Well, I'm not, obviously not you, Steven. Well, Steven, you probably don't get it, do you? I assume you wouldn't, but Thursday works for you guys? Okay. That actually works good for me. So, we'll go for Thursday. Maybe next week we'll try Thursday. I'm debating doing a dry week next week. I hate to do a dry week because I really want to stay consistent with these videos. I went the longest time on YouTube without being consistent with uploading or going live, and I think a dry week might hurt my momentum there. So we'll see. I think what I'm going to try to do is like a dry half week. So I will be like dry, like if I go live on Thursday, I'd be like dry like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, go live Thursday, and then dry Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think that may be my like sort of half dry week. I may end up also filming a video for Friday. I don't know. I would hate to miss more of a live stream than uploading a video. If I miss uploading a video, it's not a big deal. But I love going live, and I want to stay up with that. So, which bar in San Diego? It was the Whiskey. Hold on. Whiskey. It's called like Whiskey House or something. Let me look real quick. I know exactly where it is. I have it saved in my Google Maps favorites. Yeah, if you're ever in San Diego, check out this. The Whiskey House. Yeah, it's called the Whiskey House. It's right in the what's it called? Gaslight District or Gaslamp? I always say Gaslight District. Gaslamp District. Right downtown. I always stay right there. Definitely check it out. They have their Booker selection, Brandon. They have Bookers from back in 2016, all the same price, $17 a pour. A little high, but old Bookers is hard to come by, so definitely recommended it. Checking it out. Steven, you bought a handle for $20. You get it in New York? Dang, man. I may have to talk to you. Because if you could, like, I mean, $20 plus shipping to Kentucky or to California, if you're down to ship something, man, I would happily pay your cost plus shipping. Because I'd love to handle it then. That would be awesome. If you see it. Dry week, nah. If it's Whiskey House, they just won most whiskeys in the world. Oh, really? I didn't realize that, Wesley. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, see, in LA, we have a place called 7 Grand that has a huge whiskey selection. But Whiskey House, I would say, I always thought it was like about the same, maybe a little less. But to hear that they have the most, I believe it. They have a whole like book this thick of all their whiskeys. So if you're in San Diego, you gotta try it. Their prices are good too. So, and their happy hour, I mean, their happy hour is like $5 for like whiskey, not whiskey sours, like Gold Rush. I think they're like Gold Rushes. Only $5. It's just a really cool place. It's not really like a lively, but it's very kind of like small, but their selection is huge. So yeah, check them out. They're awesome. Let's get it tasting this rye. I've been talking a lot. Oh yeah, you guys have 7 Grand too. I didn't actually visit the one in San Diego, but I know the tastings are basically the same. They like vary. Like you guys get it one week and we get it the next week. So yeah, 7 Grand's awesome too. So let's go ahead and try the rye. On the nose, wow. It doesn't smell like a rye. It smells like chocolate or coffee. I know. I feel like I'm being misled by the chocolate grain. But something about this rye that they used to make this is so unique. I had never gotten this note or anything before. Let's go ahead and taste it. So far, hold on, let me try the bourbon. This is why I wanted to do it like a flight, because I wanted to compare them side by side. Wow, the nose on that bourbon is incredible. The True Blue nose is good too, but it's like sweet butter popcorn, whereas the bourbon just smells like a really good bourbon. Their bourbon's really good. But their rye is actually a similar price point. It's around, let me double check that. I don't want us to tell you it's the wrong price, because this stuff is distributed nationally, so you guys can find this. Let me see how much their rye is. So their rye is, whoa, why is this place selling it for $70? No, okay, normally $40. Sometimes it goes on sale for like $30. $40, yeah, try this. It's so unique. That's why I bought a bottle, because I tried it at a tasting and thought it was the most unique rye I'd ever had. And it's 100% rye. Like, they're not faking it and putting like a bunch of corn in it. This is rye, but it's such a unique strain of rye that like, it's just so good. If you think you don't like rye, give that a try. That sounds like a rye. That should be their tagline, but it doesn't. It has like the finish of maybe like the rye you're used to, but it has a really smoky, really good. The oaky. So I would say personally, the oakiness level on the rye, it's probably the best oak or wood taste I've ever gotten on a whiskey. I know. I've tried some. No, you know what it is? It's not oak. Take that back. Let me not say that. Let me not make that statement. I always hear that certain whiskeys have a tobacco note, and I've never really gotten it. But this rye, I've only tried smoking cigars twice in my life. This rye has a really good, totally apparent tobacco nose. Note, not nose. It's on the taste. So if you have never gotten tobacco on a whiskey like I haven't, try this. I almost guarantee you'll get a tobacco on that. Did they use tobacco? Okay, chocolate over leather, tobacco, and oak. Yeah, so they got it too. It's pretty obvious. It's like chocolate on the first part of the taste, but then it transforms into like a leathery tobacco. It's almost like smoking a cigar, like based on my limited experience smoking cigars. That's toe and toe. That finish is the best finish on any of their products I've ever had. I've never had a finish that good on any of their products. Even the ones that I've tried, not that I've bought, like I've tried at tastings, that finish is incredible. The taste, it's so unique. I can't recommend it enough. So, I'm dreading moving on to my final option. Not because it's bad, but if you saw the thumbnail, my final option in my flight of Balcones is Brimstone. Now, those of you that know Brimstone, you know Brimstone. This is their blue corn whiskey, same stuff as the True Blue, but it is smoked with Texas scrub oak. This is indescribable. Oh, no, it's describable, but not necessarily in a way that you would expect. It's smoky, but by smoky, $22. Steven, yeah, okay, I'll check that out because yeah, I'd love to order it. I've never heard of them, but after this stream, I'll go check out that website. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm actually just discovering a lot of sites that ship to California, and some of them even offer like cheap or free shipping if you order a certain amount. So definitely we'll check that one out. I would love to. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I really liked when I tried it. But yeah, Brimstone, it's smoky, but it's overwhelmingly like it's not Scotch smoky. I'll guarantee you that up front. I thought it would be like an introduction to Scotch when I first bought it because I was like, oh, it's like American smoky Scotch. No. It's like straight up burnt barbecue. I'll say that. Burnt ends like in barbecue. A little too burnt. Like they're burnt ends and then you put them over the fire for like 10 extra minutes. But then again, I kind of like it. So let me just go back through my other lineup because once you taste that, your palate's you're done for the night. You can't taste anything else other than that smoky flavor. So let's go ahead and try their True Blue again. You guys see how I like discreetly put that little message there without letting you see? That was pretty cool. Yeah. So this is the True Blue. This is the base spirit for their. Actually, let's save that for last. Let's finish this rye because it's so freaking good. I tell you, I'm a rye guy. That doesn't taste like any rye I've ever had in my life. That's just such a unique spirit. And that's my favorite thing. I think I've said this point a couple times, but my favorite thing about Balcones is they experiment, and their experiments are damn good. They're not experimenting with something like that's bad, and they're not putting out a bad product. I've never tried anything bad from them. So I commend them for that. They're a craft distillery. You know what? It's risky for them to experiment a little bit. I mean, they're not a massive distillery like Jim Beam or Buffalo Trace. They can't, even if they experiment a little bit like Jim Beam or whatever, it doesn't hurt their main profits. Whereas this place, they can experiment and they put out good stuff. So I really do commend them for that. So their rye is so good. Let's take a little final sip of the bourbon, and then we're going to go to the True Blue, which is the base spirit of the Brimstone. So if you've never tried Balcones products and you like bourbon, I recommend starting with this one. It's the most familiar. It does have their very familiar, unique taste that I associate with Balcones. Other people may associate with Texas whiskey, but it's the most approachable. Their True Blue is like the next step. This is the base spirit for a lot of their other spirits. So on the nose, it's like sweet caramel corn, popcorn, or candy corn, as Steven puts it. Whoa, I keep splashing it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I keep being over exaggerated with my hand movements. So Really good, sweet. I think the blue corn is unique. I don't know if it's just the blue corn or maybe it's the Texas aging, but I get a lot more earthy notes on that than I would on like a corn, like a regular corn. I don't know. Maybe it's just my mind playing tricks with me because it's blue. Um, but that corn does taste unique, and it's in a really good way. Maybe that's what makes all these taste unique. Maybe it's not even the Texas aging, and maybe it's the corn. I don't know. I haven't visited the distillery. I would love to talk to someone from Balcones to tell me what makes their flavor profile so distinct and so unique. So let's go ahead and pour some Brimstone to end off the night, because this is definitely one that you'd want to not drink anything delicate after, because it's so unique. By the way, I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I've had a pretty consistent number of viewers all night, and that really does mean a lot to me. It shows that like I'm not completely boring you. I know the gaming streams throw a lot of people off. I'm second guessing if I want to continue doing that. If I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be like a background thing and like nothing I have to focus full on, like Grand Theft Auto or anything like that. I think I'm gonna try to do more like arcade type games and make it kind of like there's a lull in the chat. Let's play a little bit of a video game. So still figuring that out. It's going to be a while before I do another one. I might even move that whole category over to Twitch. Still figuring it out. So so thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. The Brimstone. Wow. Whew, that's a fire starter right there. And by fire starter, I mean it tastes like fire. So let's see how they describe it. This one-of-a-kind whiskey is smoked with sun-baked Texas scrub oak using our own secret process. The result is a whiskey full of fresh, youthful corn. At least they admit that it's youthful. It is a youthful corn taste. And light fruit notes, married with bold smokiness. I don't really get the fruit. Maybe that's just me. I don't get the fruit notes on it personally. Whether you like smoky whiskeys or just have a penchant, 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 for big, new flavors, Brimstone is sure to be a memorable pour. Absolutely. I tried this at a whiskey tasting. Again, I was also intoxicated at that point. This is one of the most memorable things, other than the rye. The rye was memorable because it was so different. This was memorable because I tasted it the next morning. Aromas of masa. I've heard that term before. It's MASA. I don't really recall what it means. Texas campfire and powdered sugar, backed by stone fruit, peppery spice, and mint. Bold yet balanced, Brimstone is yet another Texas original from Balcones. So, absolutely original. Never tasted anything like it. On the nose, it smells like a sweet campfire. So, Scotch, I always was described peatiness and like smoky Scotches as campfire. To be honest, I never really got campfire on them. It's a little bit like campfire, like peatiness is a little reminiscent, but being someone that was in Boy Scouts, being someone that was around campfires, actually, you know what I think it might be? I think of Scotch as a campfire that's been put out, so it's ashy. Scotch is very like, I guess I can just say that, like ashy, earthy, ashy. Whereas this, by the way, this is their, the date on this is early. It's 9/15/17. So that's the youngest one I have. Not the youngest, the earliest release I have from them. So Scotch to me tastes like an ashy put out campfire. Brimstone smells like a fire that is still roaring. I mean, it smells like if you were to put a piece of meat on a fire that gets a little bit too done. It's like walking into a barbecue restaurant and just smelling straight up meat. Not really the sweetness that you would get with like a barbecue restaurant, but the smoky. It smells like there's a smoker going, basically. A smoker going that is kind of like over smoked or like burnt the barbecue. Again, for food wise, that's kind of not appetizing, but for a drink, it's so unique. Let's go ahead and give it a taste, since we're not going back to any of these other options tonight. Oh, after trying their other whiskeys before this one, it's not as overwhelming. And actually, on the taste, it tastes a lot more like eating barbecue. Like, Okay, so those of you not from the South, you may not have had good barbecue. I'll say that first up. Living in California, I haven't had good barbecue since I moved here. It's just never had good barbecue. I'm sure there are good places. Don't get me wrong. I just haven't found one yet. So, if you've had real good Southern barbecue, the flavor profile on this will leave you longing for just pulled pork or beef brisket or burnt ends or just all of that. That's why I like it. And, at first it was kind of off-putting by how smoky campfire-y it was. But this is straight up barbecue. This isn't your peaty scotch. So if you're afraid of peaty scotches, don't dismiss this because it's not a peaty scotch. It's a lot more what you would want to combine with a bourbon or a corn whiskey. Yeah, that's just really good. Oh, wait, so Wesley says you say it's corn dough. Okay. Like I said, I've heard the phrase before. I'm just not super familiar with it. I've never made it or tried it, on its own. You do, actually, how I said earlier that I didn't get a lot of that fruitiness? I do get it, actually. Again, if this was my first thing of the night, I wouldn't taste any of it. But having tried, oh, by the way, I just realized that I mentioned 7 Grand earlier. These are their glasses we've got they're tasting, so just a little fun fact. So, yeah, so I get a lot more of the sweetness and the fruitiness now that I've tried their other stuff first. You know what? That's not as off-putting as I thought it was going to be after all of this. It's good. It's like, I really don't know how to describe it other than barbecue. God, that makes me really hungry, actually. I haven't had dinner yet. I'm about to have dinner after this, but okay, so let me check the price point on that real quick. Wesley, you can't wait to try Brimstone. It sounds so unique. Maybe I'll bring it to the next meetup if anyone's interested in that. Because I think I mentioned it before, but maybe not. Wesley, remind me if you think of it before the next meetup with like a local Southern California group. I'll definitely bring it because I'm not drinking it fast enough here, so I'd love to share it with you. Let you have a shot of it because not a shot of it, a shot at it. I mean, you can have a shot of it, but we're fancy. We don't call them shots. So, Brandon hasn't found good barbecue either. See what I say? It's not that it's not here. I'm sure it is. I just haven't found it. Let me check the price point on this real quick. Because I think that affects my overall review of it. $60. Okay. You know what? So the rye I said was 40. Did I say the rye was 40 or 50? Sorry, I'm just going to double check that. Because that affects what my review of this is. Let me check what I thought their rye was. Balcones rye. I think I said it was 40. 40. You know what? Personally, I think that in terms of value, again, I'm a very budget-focused person. I think their True Blue and their rye and Brimstone, I think they should be at that $50 price point. Now, I say that, praising the rye, True Blue is $60. I think it's a little overpriced for me personally. I don't know if I'd buy another bottle of this. Their bourbon at $30, that's an excellent deal. I'll definitely buy more of this. Their rye, honestly, this is $40. I would pay $50 for it. It's so unique. It's 100 proof. Yeah, that's the undervalued one of the group. The rye is definitely worth $40. I would pay $50 for it. This one though, they're selling it for $60. I would say pay $60 for it and try it. Absolutely. It's so unique. If you don't like it, it'll be a little bit of a bummer at first. I know I say that because I've bought some expensive whiskeys and I've been bummed out by them. But you can't deny that this is unique. And it'll make a good conversation piece. It'll make something that you can bring out to someone that likes smoky scotches and be like, you like smoky scotches? Try a smoky Texas whiskey. You're not going to regret buying it. It may not be for you, but it'll have its purpose. So I would say I would wish this would be $50 just because it's so polarizing. But flavor-wise, it's good. I may not pay $60 for it again unless I really crave that taste. And again, the whole reason I bought it, I tried it at a tasting and I craved that taste. So maybe I will. But Steven says decent barbecue spots where I went to school in upstate New York. Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I feel like good barbecue is an East Coast thing. I feel like that's like blasphemous to say, but I've had some good barbecue up to like I had good barbecue in New York City. I can't remember the place, but I went. It wasn't. I didn't have barbecue, but I had like a burger that had barbecue on top of it, and that was really good. So I was pleasantly surprised. But California, I just haven't had good barbecue yet. So if anyone's watching this video either now or in the future, and you know a good barbecue spot in California, Southern California, let me know because I will make the drive and I will go there. So, Brandon says it's all commercialized out here. Yeah. I just haven't found a good spot yet, and I'm not gonna say there's not one because that would just be rude. And like, I really can't say I've tried like every barbecue spot in California. That would be dumb. I would do it. It wouldn't be dumb to do it. It would be dumb to say that I have and not do it. So, so Steven, that's a good point. You said you had the baby blue and you used it for cooking after tasting. Did you not like it? I've heard a lot of people not liking the baby blue. And the thing is, the baby blue, what is the age on that? Let me look real quick. That's a good point to mention during the stream before I end out for the night. I do want to mention that because their baby blue is probably their most popular product I've ever seen. Let's see what the age statement on that is. It's the same mash bill as this, by the way. It's the True Blue. It's just younger. What is the age? Do they release an age statement? Steven, if you still have a bottle, I'd love to know the age statement on that. Just want to mention that real quick because that is relevant because the baby blue is what you're most likely to find in your liquor store. And I've heard mixed things about it. So I really can't find an age statement on that. If anyone has seen the age statement on that one, unmatured spirit. It says it's unmatured. They definitely age it though. Let me search months. Baby blue months. I'm doing this to help you guys out. Must include months. $6 months. Okay. Oh, $15. I mean, damn. I would try it for $15. That's good. I'm pretty sure it goes for a lot more out here. Let me just double check. Again, I'm mentioning this to help future people that are watching this review that are considering buying the baby blue. It's $40 out here. Steven, that's a great price. I mean, even if it's bad, $15, like, that's like, I would suffer a little bit. Like, that's a great price. It is only 6 months old, which again, like I said, Texas things seem a lot more aged than they do in Kentucky. They'll probably drink more like a 1 to 2 years, so still really young. But it's a corn whiskey, so it's its own unique thing. Now, Mellow Corn, which is the first corn whiskey I ever tried, is a bottled in bond release. That means it's at least 3. Wait, hold on. I'm a little. I'm pretty sure it's 3 years. Let me double check. Bottled in bond. I normally would know this, but I've had a few drinks tonight. Okay. 100 proof. Blah, blah, blah. One distillery. Blah, blah, blah. Is there an age required? I think it's 3 years. No, 4 years. Sorry, 4 years. That's even better. So, Mellow Corn is a bottled in bond whiskey. So, it is 4 years old compared to a 6-month-old Balcones. Probably because the guy was trying to get rid of it. I can see that, Steven, but again, for $15, I'm sure you went into it like, not that you would pay full price for it, but you probably drank it or used it, again, in cooking, like it was a $15 whiskey. So, you got a good deal there. I would not pay the full price for it. I'm being perfectly honest with you. And I'm sure you wouldn't either, obviously. Yeah, it's just too young. I mean, even this, 2 years, that's young, but Texas is, again, their heat really does quickly age spirits. So, and maybe it contributes to that flavor profile that I associate with Texas whiskey. So, yeah, but this Balcones, again, it's $60. I say pick up a bottle. It's not off. It's off-putting in the way that if you've never had a smoky whiskey, but if you hate peat, you may like this. So give it a shot if you can find it, because it's worth a try. I don't think I'd buy another bottle. I'm going to be perfectly honest now. I don't think I would buy another bottle of it unless, like I said, I really crave that taste. So, and I've gotten more into peaty scotches since buying this bottle, so I probably won't buy it because, like, I want to experiment a bit more with peat because I'm not as off-put by it as I was originally. So, yeah, so this is the Balcones that I have. So I know they have a lot more spirits out there, so my apologies for not buying every release they have. I considered buying what they call their Rumble, which is like a fermented honey, which sounds really good. I would love to try it, but it was a little pricier than the bourbon, and I thought this was more true, mainly because I've tried the True Blue. I wanted to try what they consider a bourbon, and this is like one of their newer releases, so that's just my personal opinion. I would love to do a follow-up to this stream and try their other releases. They have like a American single malt. I think they even may have a peated whiskey. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they might have a peated whiskey. I just really appreciate what they're doing at Balcones. I think it's really unique for a craft distillery to experiment this much. And I keep calling them a craft distillery. I'm not 100% sure if they're considered a craft distillery because they have such mass market like availability. But they're worth a shot. They're worth trying. And I think if you try their bourbon, if you try their bourbon or you try their true corn, not the baby corn, as Steven said, their baby corn's not very good, but if you try their True Blue or you try their bourbon, which was just recently released, has very limited availability right now. It's in like Texas, California, like Illinois or something. It's very limited, but if you see it at a bar, you try either of these two, and you're intrigued by it, and you're not off-put by the what I call the Balcones flavor profile, what others call the Texas flavor profile, try some of their other stuff, because their rye is just so unique and so good. Gotta finish it off right now before the end of the stream. So chocolatey, so deep, so dark. Almost espresso bean layer of bitterness. Yeah, the bitterness on it after Brimstone basically either ruins your palate or opens you up to other flavors that you wouldn't normally get. It opened this rye up to getting a dark espresso note, not just chocolate, like an espresso note on that. So, yeah, definitely give them a try. If you don't get anything else from the stream, I just say try craft whiskey, try local stuff to your state, try local stuff to Texas. Just try new stuff. I mean, Kentucky isn't the only place that makes bourbon. They're known for their bourbon, but there's other states that make bourbon. So hopefully you guys got that from the stream. And again, I appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you so much for showing up. And if you're watching this replay, again, thank you too. But yeah, I'm planning to go live next week. Maybe Thursday, maybe Tuesday. We'll figure it out. I have a video coming out on Friday this week. I'm probably going to be reviewing an Australian whiskey, so keep an eye out for that. It's definitely different, but again, we're sticking with the whole theme of different things lately, so check that out. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, check out my other whiskey videos. I have lots of reviews. I have live streams you can go back and watch. And if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe because I really appreciate it. And yeah, you guys are awesome, and I enjoy hanging out with you guys during the week. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Brandon, have a great night, and Steven and Wesley and anyone else is still hanging around. I know I've overstayed my welcome a bit here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, I'm not going to copy this bourbon, so I'll say drink good whiskey. All right, see you guys later. Bye.